Chapter 15. Ben and Logan stood there, panting, their eyes fixed on the pig-masked figure that had suddenly stopped moving. The massive monster, still clutching its axe, simply stood in the middle of the hallway. Its bloodied pig head tilted slightly downward as if listening to something only it could hear. "What the hell is going on?" Logan whispered, gripping the concrete slab in his hand, ready in case the pig decided to attack again. Ben shook his head, trying to make sense of the situation. "I don't know, it looks like..." Before he could finish, the pig and wolf mascots suddenly turned around and walked away, as if they had completely lost interest in the two of them. Their steps were slow and heavy, like they no longer cared about their presence. The axe scraped against the floor, making a grating noise that echoed through the hallway until they finally disappeared into the darkness. "Why the hell did they just leave?" Logan asked, disbelief in his voice. Ben stared down the hallway where the mascots had vanished, then turned back to Logan. "Maybe they have something else planned. Maybe we're not their target anymore." "But why? I thought they wanted to kill us." Ben shook his head again, still confused. "We don't have time to figure it out. We need to move before they change their minds." Logan nodded without arguing. He clutched his wounded shoulder, the dried blood stiffening his shirt, though the pain was still sharp and relentless. "We need to find Allison and Raymond. They have to be here, if they're still alive." They moved cautiously through the dark hallway, careful not to make a sound that could draw the mascot's attention. The stench of blood and chemicals was thick in the air, making every breath feel suffocating. Then suddenly a scream pierced the silence. A woman's scream. The chilling sound echoed down the corridor, making both of them freeze. Their eyes widened in shock. It was Allison. "Allison!" Logan yelled, bolting toward the sound without hesitation. "Logan, wait!" Ben tried to stop him, but Logan was already running, ignoring the pain in his body. Ben had no choice but to chase after him. The screams led them to a large room at the end of the hallway. As they neared, another sound joined the mix. A low, sinister laughter, accompanied by the dragging of something heavy across the floor. Ben and Logan felt their hearts drop. They reached a massive door, slightly ajar, with a dim red glow seeping through the gap. Logan peeked inside, and the sight before him made his stomach churn. Allison was tied to a wooden chair in the center of the room, her wrists and ankles bound tightly with thick rope. Blood dripped from the corner of her mouth. She was sobbing, but her eyes were wide, filled with pure terror. Surrounding her were two new mascots, one wearing a giant rabbit head with long ears, the other a towering bear, even larger than the pig from before. The bear held a massive kitchen knife, while the rabbit carried a small torch, its flame flickering ominously. They stood close to Allison, chuckling softly as they watched her struggle. Logan nearly lunged forward, but Ben yanked him back into the shadows. "Don't be an idiot. We can't take them head-on like this." Ben whispered harshly, trying to keep Logan from rushing in blindly. "We need a plan." Logan's eyes were burning red with fury. "Allison is in there. We can't just stand here and do nothing. If we go in now, we're dead too." Ben shot back, scanning the room for anything useful. "We need to lure them away or take them down without a direct fight." Logan clenched his fists, his body trembling with rage, but deep down he knew Ben was right. He took a deep breath, trying to rein in his emotions. "Fine," he muttered. "But make it fast. Allison doesn't have much time." Ben's eyes landed on a row of large gas pipes lining the wall. A bright red warning label on one of them read, "Flammable." A plan started forming in his mind. "We can use that pipe," Ben said, pointing at it. "If we can break it open or ignite something near it, we can create a small explosion, enough to distract them." "Are you sure it'll just be small?" Logan asked skeptically. "I don't want to end up blowing ourselves up, or worse, hurting Allison." "You'll be in a safe spot. Allison should be okay too. The distance and those pillars will protect her." Logan nodded, though his expression remained tense. "All right. But the real problem is, how do we do it without getting caught?" Ben thought for a moment, then pointed toward a small door on the side of the room. "I'll sneak around and get to the pipe from there. You stay here and be ready in case they come your way." Logan hesitated but eventually agreed. Don't take too long. Ben moved carefully along the wall, keeping himself hidden in the shadows. Meanwhile, Logan remained at the doorway, his eyes locked on Allison and the two mascots. "Come on, scream again," the bear-masked figure growled in a deep, raspy voice, making Allison shudder. "I won't," she whispered, her voice shaking. "I won't let you use my screams to lure my friends in." "They'll come," the rabbit-masked figure sneered, bringing the torch closer to her face. "But that's exactly what we want. We want all the little rats to come scurrying out of their hiding places." Logan clenched his fists so tightly his nails dug into his palms. He was barely holding himself back from charging in. Meanwhile, Ben finally reached the gas pipe and spotted a small valve on its side. He carefully turned it, allowing gas to start hissing out in a slow, steady stream. But the sound wasn't as subtle as he'd hoped. The rabbit suddenly froze. What was that? The rabbit turned its head, its masked face tilting as it listened. Ben felt sweat drip down his forehead. Shit. He had been spotted. The rabbit started walking toward him, the torch still burning in its hand. Logan saw this as his chance. Without thinking, he grabbed a chunk of concrete from the floor and hurled it across the room, making a loud crash in the opposite direction. "There," the rabbit hissed, whipping its head toward the noise. The bear immediately moved toward where the rabbit pointed, while Logan signaled Ben to hurry. Ben twisted the valve fully open, allowing the gas to flood the air. He signaled Logan to get something ready to ignite it, but before they could finish the plan, the rabbit turned back again. "I know you're here," the rabbit murmured, its voice eerily cold. It lifted the torch slightly, its flames flickering dangerously. "You're not getting out of this alive."